All right, we are sitting down with another All-Star from Survivor All-Stars, originally from Survivor Lost Creek, and as you just saw in the finale, third place finisher on Survivor All-Stars. It is Daron. Daron, great to see you.
Always a pleasure, Paul.
A pleasure indeed. First of all, congratulations on your third place finish. I know it's been a long time since the show aired, but what do you have to say for yourself now that you can officially talk about how you finished?
Well, it was a great season. I was I was obviously nervous going into the game. I think everyone kind of was, and it was a big accomplishment to make it to the final three of All Stars. So I was close to the win, but making it that far in the game was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. What happened there at the end? Why are you not sitting here the winner?
Well, I am not winning. I did not win because I didn't win that final challenge. I think at the time I was really mentally checking out of the game. I knew at the time when Shandy had moved on to the puzzle part of the challenge that I wasn't going to catch up, and I kind of almost gave up in a way. So I had to put a lot of faith in Shandy to take me. So I think a big reason why I didn't win was because I didn't win that final challenge and didn't secure my place in the game. So
So what would you have done if you won that challenge? We got a question right in here to say, who would you have picked in the final two? I know you said at the final tribal council that you would have kicked out Shandy. Is that true?
well, ever since after Sigrid got out, I knew that Shandy was the front runner to win. I knew that she would, if she got to the final two, she was probably going to win. So really, ever since the final five, I really had been gunning for Shandy. Um, it was just really hard to make a case to get out Shandy with Amanda still in the game because they're both so similar. So then once Amanda got out, I tried to um, persuade Maggie and Martha to get Shandy out, which I think they would have done. But then Shandy wins immunity, and of course Shandy wins the final immunity challenge. So I don't know. I think I would have taken Martha. It's hard to say because I'm not in that moment right now, but um, I think it would have been smarter for me to take Martha, and I think that's probably the move I would have ended up doing.
So do you think if you would have made it to the final two, how good a chance do you think you stood to win the whole game?
Honestly, out there, I really didn't think I had a good chance. I really thought that a lot of people were pissed off because I think it was a very personal game, which I mean, it's All Stars, it's expected. But looking back, I still think I would have had a really good chance. I think it would have been close either way. I think there were some people who they would have voted for me against one person, but may not have voted for me against another person, um, Shandy and Martha. So I don't know. I think it would have been close. I think I definitely would have had a good chance. Would I have won? It's hard to say, but I didn't win the challenge. I didn't get to there, so I guess we'll never know.
So there's another point I wanted to bring up about the final tribal council. Your vote for Shandy to win. Not only did you vote for Shandy to win, but you were very vocal with the jury that Shandy was the deserving winner, and Martha let emotions get too involved in the game. Having watched the season, having watched Martha's game play out now, do you still stand by what you said at that final tribal council? Do you still stand by your vote for Shandy?
Well, okay, so going into the tribal council, I knew I was going to vote for Shandy. I had already decided that there's really nothing Martha could have said to change my mind. Like I knew I was voting for Shandy, and I stand by what I said with both of them playing great games. I do kind of regret saying that Martha played an emotional game because I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think if you look back, you can say Martha was an emotional player, but she didn't necessarily make emotional moves. One thing that didn't make the show that I think I kind of based that statement off of was when the whole Maggie and Martha vote was going down. When Maggie was voted off, and it was very emotional. Martha had mentioned that she was contemplating stepping out of the game just so Maggie can go on. Whether that was actually serious or not, we will never know. But at that point, I was just like, why would you give up your spot in the game? So I think that's kind of where it came from. But I definitely don't think Martha played an emotional game that dictated her moves. I think she was a very. They both played a great game. So I do stand by voting for Shandy, but at the same time, I don't think Martha was an emotional player.
Okay, so sticking on the topic of Martha, Martha was definitely someone in the game that you had an interesting relationship with because it didn't even come across on the show as much as it really was happening out there. But you really were the first one to bring up Martha's game that she needed to go. And Martha never really seemed to fully trust you, yet you both sat there in the final three. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with Martha?
Yeah, I also think it's funny how like we never voted for each other in the game, even though both of us are very skeptical of each other. I it didn't really make the show that much, but I knew once we found out our tribes, I knew that I didn't want Martha, Maggie, and Shandy to get together because I knew that if those three got together, there was a very high chance that they would be together. Um, Obviously, there were bigger fish to fry at the time. I wanted to break up. Didn't want Kellen in the game, so. But once we kind of got where we were moving along, I tried to kind of mention like we shouldn't forget about Martha because if she gets with those girls, then they're going to be a power alliance in the game. And then weirdly enough, the final four ends up being those three girls and me. So I think I was kind of the first one to really like let the other people know that they can be a big power alliance in the game. And I just don't think we never really had an opportunity to get rid of Martha. So yeah, but then toward the end of the game, I ended up needing Martha because I wanted to take out Shandy. So we had a really up and down relationship, I guess you could say, and I guess it worked out for both of us though because we both got extremely far in the game.
Another interesting relationship that was very fun to unfold was your alliance, your relationship with Amanda. At times, you guys had each other's backs, you were very supportive of each other, but there were other times where you seemed very frustrated with Amanda. What was it like being an ally of Amanda's?
Well, first off, Amanda's a great person. I love her dearly, and I don't know if I necessarily get as far as I do without her help. But at the same time, I think Amanda, she really gets caught up in the moment, and I think that she makes decisions in her head that she said that she's not going to do. So, for example, she was so set on voting out Michael at the time. And to be honest, I really wanted to even try to maybe work with Michael, but she gets set on these things, and she doesn't really want to change her mind. So I think I think it limited our options, because I think that she goes in with the mindset of we're going to do this, and I can't vote for anyone else. But again, at the same time, I think that she was a huge part of my game, and I don't know if I necessarily get as far without her. So overall, I would not change my alliance with Amanda, and I was really fortunate to have such a close ally in the game.
So, looking back on this whole experience, is there anything you could have done differently? Are there any regrets you have? Any decisions that you would maybe do a little bit differently that you think could have helped you win?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, so I've had a lot of time to kind of think about everything I've done. And I mean, there's definitely little things that you think about, like would it have been smarter to take out Connor when we took out Kellen, or there's little things. But overall, I think the one move that I really wish I could go back is the final six, the big move that Martha made when they split their votes to get Sigrid out. And the problem was we put way too much trust in Shandy, and if we would have just thought it through, we should have voted for Martha, and then it would have me, Sigrid, and Amanda would have had the majority, and I think that would have really increased my chances of going to the final two. So I mean that's probably the only one, but then again at the same time I still made it to the final three, even though even though Sigrid was eliminated, and I guess just not winning that final challenge, I think that's huge. I mean you gotta deliver in those big moments, and I didn't do that, so. There's regret, but if I could go back, those are probably two kind of scenarios where I think I could have changed.
Well, the one question that I did want to ask you is, and we're asking everyone this, what moment from the show or something that we didn't see on the show is your favorite thing that happened that maybe the audience didn't get to see? Was there any relationship you had, any funny moments or any memories that you wish would have actually made the show?
That's a good question, Paul. I'm trying to think if there are any. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't make the show that I wish it could. I mean, like there's a lot of strategy talk that doesn't make the show. I think it was great that you did the cut scenes. I just think I had a really good relationship with Michael that I don't think really came across as
Well, we
much.
saw you guys hugging each other at the Final Tribal Council.
Oh yes, really big hug. But Michael and I are great friends. I love Michael to death. I think he's just an amazing person. And out there, we really did have a good relationship, always joking around, and I don't think it really came across as much. And I had a good relationship with everyone, but I think that my relationship with Michael didn't come across as much as I wish it would have. So, there's a lot of things that just can't make the show. I think that's one of them I wish would have been seen a little bit more.
So how would you compare your All Stars experience to your time on Lost Creek? If you go back and watch yourself, how many ever years ago on Lost Creek, you're much younger. back then. Now you're 18 when you played this game. How do you compare the two experiences?
It's really hard to compare Lost Creek to All Stars because I mean it's really hard to compare to the first time because that was going back and that was just such an exciting moment for me to finally be playing Survivor and I was so young and so I really don't think it can really compare to that. But at the same time, Survivor All Stars was amazing as well. I definitely did better in the game. I think I made better moves than I did in Lost Creek. But I think that Lost Creek will always have kind of a special place for me just because that was the first time and there were some really great people out there like Brian and that original tribe of Ichupe. So two very different experiences, but both very fulfilling.
Well, we're just about out of time here with you. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your experience or any comment you'd like to make to the fans who've watched you over the course of these 2 seasons?
Well, first of all, it's such an honor to be able to play it twice. It's and really to thank the fans too for following. I think everyone appreciates their comments and their dedication to the show. So I do want to thank them for following up and for their support and encouragement. So no, it was a great season. Overall though, there's not much I could have changed, and great winner, very deserving final two, everyone deserved to be there. So overall, it was a great experience, and I'm really fortunate to be able to play it twice. So it was awesome.
Well, thank you, Daron, for a game well played, and we wish you all the best with your future endeavors.
All right, thank you, Paul.
Thank you.